All right, so how can we help that look, right? Well, there's three parts: clitoral hood, labia minora, and then the perineum. If you want to be fancy, you talk about the majority of that labial puff. We already talked about that, so we're going to focus on these three, okay? First things first, we actually need some surgical instruments. These are surgical scissors, right? So part of this is if your clitoral hood is covering your clitoris, it's going to make it really hard to get there. So what we would do is we would take pieces of this and basically trim it. So where now you're like, oh, wow, it's exposed. So now because there's more access, you're going to have better stimulation to this area. When we're talking about the roast beef part, this is where there's different techniques of using scissors to basically just trim it. Obviously, we don't do it like this in surgery, but we would trim it to where it's thinner and we don't have this extra hanging out and it's more flush. There's different kinds of looks. Some people want a little bit more, some people want a little bit less. You can almost do kind of like a Barbie look where you just have the majora sticking out compared to the inside part. And then if we want to be really fancy, we take the bottom that's open, we put sutures and close it up. So now the opening, as we open the sandwich, it's tighter. Those are the procedures that we do when we're talking about a labioplasty, minoroplasty, majoroplasty, all fancy words for taking care of this area down there. All right, guys. So when we're doing a labioplasty, we trim this and all of a sudden now it looks much more smooth. Sometimes there's one bigger side, one smaller side when we see this, right? So now we would trim the other side. As we trim it, now it's more flush.